I have something to admit. I have an addiction, and no, it's not to drugs. All I want to do every day is just pump big numbers.
Yeah, you fucking heard me right.
Pumping fat numbers is an art form that only the most prestigious of gamers can achieve. Just watch this. But every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. The balance of the yin and the yang must be maintained, and because of it, when big damage is done, there also needs to be big heals. Whether it's saving a tank from a catastrophic crushing blow, or drinking some Sunny D in between enemies, healing is an essential part of video games. Although healing is an essential mechanic, it's also kinda weird. There are a large variety of different ways to regain health in games, and most of them are kinda goofy, and today I'm gonna talk about them. I think that the best place to start is with different forms of healing in video games. Magic is a pretty basic form of healing. Basically, you either say a prayer or wave your hands, umbasa, and then all your wounds are gone. This usually opens up a lot of avenues and can pose a lot of questions like, where does the magic come from? Or are there any consequences to using the magic? One of the most interesting lore situations in any game that I've played actually comes from Demon Souls with sorceries and miracles. In Demon Souls, it is widely accepted that sorceries are fueled by the demons and that miracles are fueled by gods. This solution is shattered with the item description of the Talisman of the Beast, which shows us that the gods that the clerics worship are actually the same demons that fuel sorceries. This is one of the coolest facts that I've seen about any video games, and it's all thanks to healing magic. Even though healing magic can have some of the coolest lore behind it, it's just so boring. While some magic can shoot a meteor from the sky, or others can place a curse on somebody to make them speak a demonic language, healing has like 3 different varieties. There are single target heals, AoE healing, and regeneration effects. As much as I want to love healing in video games, it's just all the same. Like, look at this. Single target, AoE, regeneration. Single target, AoE, regeneration. Another form of healing that is pretty standard across games is potions. Potions are usually an instant heal that are treated as like an oh shit button. My biggest gripe with healing potions in video games is that if the game has healing potions, it usually has a bunch of other potions that are just way more interesting. Like, I can drink something that literally turns my character invisible or allows me to swim in lava, but every healing potion is either just a flat heal or a regeneration effect. I think that developers should create more interesting healing potions to match some of the impressiveness of other potions in the game. One potion I can think of off the top of my head would be a potion that heals you every time you hit an enemy. I think something like this would spice up the game and would make people strategize more when they're actually going to use their potions. Another important thing about healing potions is that there's usually a cooldown associated with it before you can use another one, which creates an interesting dynamic because after you use a healing potion, it's a gamble on whether you should play more defensive until you can use another, or whether you have enough health to defeat the enemy. Now, all of this is negated if you can just pause the game and slurp down that big red, or if there's no cooldown to the instant healing. Some games that I think have mastered this are the Soulsborne genre. The potions usually match the pace of the game and you have a limited amount of them. Also, in Dark Souls, you can drink Sunny D, which if you ask me, is pretty cool. In video games, food is another source of healing that is commonly used. Now, here's where in my opinion, things get a little wacky. I think that food is such a strange form of healing because, at least the last time I checked, a grilled cheese is not going to help me if I step on a rusty nail. Now, I will admit, food does make me feel better when I'm sad, but I still don't really think it's going to help me if I get hit by a hammer. Regardless of how goofy eating food is, one of my favorite things about it is when developers create their own food. Like, side rant. Imagine this. You create an entire universe around magic and mythical creatures, and you're going to tell me they're still eating fucking wheels of cheese and sweet rolls? I hate Skyrim so much. Games like Breath of the Wild and World of Warcraft have interesting foods that not only heal you, but also give you special effects, like lowering your body temperature or literally making you breathe fire. And even though these games have boring food like steak and bread, they also have foods that are unique to their own universe, and people like Binging with Babish can try and recreate them. And if you ask me, this looks pretty good. Also in the category of foods, I'm going to add herbs, because why do so many games have magical green herbs? Hold on, let me look this up. After extensive research, I have found that there is no good reason as to why green herbs are used in video games. I mean, the Resident Evil wiki literally says that there is no in-universe explanation. So, I really don't know anymore. The main two games that pop into my head when I think of herb healing. The main two games that I can think of that have herb healing are Demon Souls and the aforementioned Resident Evil. In Demon Souls, the grasses are based off of the lunar cycles, which I love the lunar cycles. And also in Resident Evil, you can snort plants. Moving on. The final form of healing that I want to talk about is bandages. This one makes a little bit of sense, but it's also not super realistic. Like, if I get hit by a fireball or nibbled on by 1,000 flesh-hungry clowns, the first thing I don't think is, let me just slap a band-aid on it. Like, at least in Left 4 Dead, you can pop painkillers to get a temporary health boost, which, thinking about it, actually makes a bit of sense. But band-aids? This kind of goes along with healing sprays in video games, because I always feel like I'm a professional soccer player whenever I use one of these. Back to band-aids for a second. How is this actually going to heal someone? Like, I get it would stop the bleeding, but it's going to take time for the wounds to heal, and while we're talking about taking time, sometimes all you have to do in video games is just wait around and then you'll heal. You're gonna tell me that it's gonna take 12 seconds to heal all my bullet wounds? Now, I know how I just ranted about how healing sucks for the past few minutes, and that must mean that healing sucks, right? Wrong. Actually, none of that shit is important when it comes to healing. What's really important is the healers themselves. If you're a healer, mwah, I love you. You care about your babies and you make sure that they don't die. When your little bitch boys decide to shove a fork in the electrical socket or accidentally pull 2 packs of enemies, you make sure that we don't wipe. I know that people who play supports in video games get a lot of crap, but they are the backbone of a sturdy team, and they make sure that none of their babies decide the toaster belongs in the bathtub. Every time a Genji jumps in and yells, "I need healing," right before they die, it makes me realize that we should appreciate and respect our healers more. In World of Warcraft, we don't surround our warriors when they get the gauntlets of annihilation. But when our dwarf priest got those beautiful blue robes, you know we made him strip and dance for us. I love you healers, and thank you for keeping us safe.